Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Joe with Christina and Brooke. Happy Sunday. It's the most wonderful time of the year, and we have the most wonderful topic of the year. Today, we're talking about how you can be the author of your life.
Yes, 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 yes. So this conversation started because Funny Joe from Morning Joe said, Brooke, I want your life. And I'm like, well, we can all design our lives, right? We all choose how we want to live. So, how do you choose to live, Joe?
Wait, how did that get thrown to me? This is
Because
your
you always go
baby.
first.
That's totally not by design. It doesn't have to be that way.
All right, all right. Do
I,
you want me to go first?
I'll totally kick us off. Because I think it's the same contribution I feel like I always make, right? Which is having it all. It all starts with just spending time and reflecting on what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. And when we were joking, and you're on your way to your what seems to be your weekly tennis match, like, yo, I want that. Like, that'd be so cool. I'd love to be able to schedule a time to play tennis, just kind of jokingly. And that's when you said, yeah, you can have the life you design. And it starts with how important really is tennis to me. Is that just kind of a throwaway line, or is it something that matters enough where I need to schedule it into my day? Like when it's Sunday and I'm looking 7 days ahead, 14 days ahead, is one of the first things I'm thinking about is where am I scheduling my tennis time? I'm prioritizing it to that level. So I think it starts with that. It starts with just what matters to us. Is it personal reading time? Is it being alone? Is it watching movies? Is it spending time with family? Is it playing a sport? I think it starts there. And I think to that end, you're not wrong. Life, you have quite a bit of say into what your day and time looks like, especially in those free moments and how you spend those free moments.
Yeah. And knowing what you don't want to spend it on too, and weeding that out as well. So, like, I know weekly I set my schedule and I have my priorities, like you said. And could I have said no to tennis today? Yeah. But then I would have been at home on the computer with you guys. And then after that, I wouldn't be playing tennis. So, is there an issue with taking this call in the car and then being able to do something that I love to do? I don't think so, right? I mean,
Right.
it doesn't mean any disrespect to anyone. It's funny, we were starting this conversation because one of my clients were saying, seems like you take all of your calls in the car, huh? Gotta make my background a little nicer for everyone. But I do see some palm trees up there. But yeah, I created this life coming from New York, doing other things first, and saying no to certain things, hard decisions, to then say yes to what I love, and gradually started creating and painting the life that I wanted. It doesn't happen right away, but then it happens over time by choosing.
Planting seeds. And there's no such thing as, oh, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's like you guys said, scheduling out the things that are important to you and figuring out how to get those priorities in.
Totally.
Yeah, and the idea that I think we're all saying it, and it's kind of a fun and easy way of remembering it. And I'm sure we've all heard it, but the idea that you can do anything, you can do anything, but you can't do everything, right? Because we are limited by time. So it's identifying, what are the things that I could highlight and choose anything that I want to do. I just can't do it all because we don't have the time to do it all. So we have to prioritize. We have to identify which are the things that matter most, whether it's something as fun as just playing tennis every week. And okay, so what do I have to do to make that happen? Maybe it's taking a couple of calls on my way to tennis. Cool, then that's what I'll do. That's the thing that matters to me. So we could totally do it. It's just prioritizing it.
Exactly. So how do you choose to spend the holidays coming up? How How are you designing your holiday?
Is that for me? Oh my goodness.
Anyone?
I'm not. I'm not. It's again, one of the amazingly wonderful, beautiful dynamics that I think that we have is there's so many areas where we overlap and agree and see things similarly, and then just personality wise, there's also areas where we're different. So I think I like going into these types of breaks very minimally, having them planned out. Like it's outside of us maybe taking a very specific trip or something. It's like no, I'm not planning that Monday. I'm not planning that Tuesday. We'll figure it out when we get to Monday or Tuesday. Because for me, that's I enjoy that because I feel so much of the rest of my life, my work life has to be so planned and has to be so specifically measured. I don't want that when it's free time.
You know what, Joe? I'm the same. The same. Exactly the same. I don't want plans. I don't want commitments. I want to do what I feel like doing on that day at that time. And I don't know how I'm going to feel yet. So I don't want to commit to it. Agree.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I used to be so over planned on vacations, and when I have time off, it's like, okay, I only have this time, so I'm going to be productive with it. But with the help of my husband, he's like, no, we're not running around. We're going to do one thing today. And I like it.
It's crazy you bring that up because I think it was just in the last week that Millie brought this up to me where I don't know what happened, but some memory was triggered in her mind of like the first spring break that we spent together. We fully remember you were just dating, and our first spring break where we got to spring break because we were both teaching, both had the same week off. And her memory is her feeling like, all right, so what are we doing? What's the plan? And my reaction would be like, yo, hold on. We don't break like that. Like there's nothing planned. What do you want to do today? Nothing. We don't do anything then. Like, but somehow that's a memory that's stuck in her mind of noticing that there was a difference, right? That up until that point, everything in her mind had been so planned, even to the point of having time off, that even time off, you had to fill it with stuff. You had to fill it with events and activities and things, which is totally cool. That's who you are, and that's what makes you happy, and that's what brings you fulfillment and contentment. But also sometimes we can find ourselves in that more out of habit than really what we really want or what really does bring us happiness and contentment. We're just so used to constantly feeling like we need to be doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like way off topic, but maybe I could weave it back in there. But last night I had a difficult time sleeping, and I don't know what it is. I just was so happy at work yesterday that the vibes like carried through the night. My head was just going crazy. So I found myself reading articles, and I came across this Japanese scientist. I don't know if you guys have ever heard or seen this, but he theorized, and I think he even proved it through science. I need to read more. It was so fascinating that like your words and the energy that you put out actually forms beautiful things within water if you're positive, versus like negative thoughts and energies make like the most hideous, non-symmetrical. And so he defines beauty by being symmetrical, and he has these parameters for that. But it's really true, like the most beautiful crystallized formations from like positive affirmations, like you're beautiful, water, you flow like the sea, you're amazing. And then like, you're terrible, stop having so many waves. And it was just so amazing how it formed these pictures. Joe, I have to show you this article. It was so cool. He wrote a whole book about it, and he's like, it's like a big thing. I had never heard of it before, and I couldn't stop reading it. And I was like, oh, so then they related it to the human body because we're 70% water. Like 70% of your being is like affirmations and the story you tell and the story you tell yourself and what you hear from others. And I was like, wow, that's so powerful. I see Joe's face. He's like, this is like,
well, it's The Secret, right? You know, the book, The Secret?
No, I don't know The Secret. What is The Secret?
The author is Bob something, but you know, it's what you put out there, you attract. So it's the law of attraction, essentially.
I don't know. It's really fascinating.
I like that. But
Joe,
yeah,
crazy faces. What's in your brain, Joe?
Just I love, and you guys know this. We talk about this all the time. I love the funny visuals that jump into my head when people are talking and describing what. So in my mind, I just had this really funny visual of you at like 2:30 in the morning, and you're at that place of the internet. Like you're in that place in YouTube. It's like the fifth conspiracy theory video, and you're watching videos on things that nobody should be watching at 2:30 in the morning, and then you come across this Japanese guy with this research on water and positive affirmation. I totally believe it, but it's messages in water.
Hidden messages in water.
Totally.
How beautiful is that?
Gorgeous. Not as gorgeous and funny as the visual in my mind, as you frantically bumping into this at 2:30 in the morning, unable to sleep.
I couldn't stop. I could not stop. I was like, is this real? I wanted to like read the methodology. Like, what is your, anyway, I don't know. As the author of my life, I like to think that positive affirmations make a positive difference. And so I want to make sure that I have more of that in my life. Yeah, anyway, that's my point.
Rubber stamp that. Boom.
Let's be the author of this show and call it for today.
Sounds like a plan. Enjoy your Sunday, everybody.